Hi, everybody. My name is Lindsay, and I'm a Bravoholic.
You're preaching to the choir. Bravo, bravo, bravo.
Honey, you have to stop saying that.
I want to welcome all the addicts for coming back to Bravoholics Anonymous, this meeting, and I want to welcome Christina.
Hello, my name is Christina, and I am definitely a Bravoholic and not in recovery.
I love that. Yeah, well, it's okay. This is a support group. So we're not trying to remedy anything. We're just here to help each other. You know what I mean?
I'm just bursting at the seams, ready to just let it all out.
Well, let's talk about how we met.
Yes.
I was at the Renegade Craft Fair with my sister, and we came across this like really amazing booth that had hilarious cards with all of our favorite Bravo celebrities on it, Drag Race stars. I bought 5 cards. One with Paul Hollywood for my mother for Mother's Day. I bought one that's like it was like it said gracias.
The white girl way of saying gracias.
And I also work at a high-end Mexican restaurant, so I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, perfect.
And your coloring books, I've seen them at numerous places before. And I was so excited to be like, oh my God, this is the woman behind it. And we connected right away about Bravo.
Well, that's the thing. So I don't have anyone in my actual life that I can talk about Bravo to, but I listen to like every podcast because it's like I'm that meme where it's like me and my friends and it's like the boy sitting in front of the poster of all the girls. It's like what it feels like to listen to a podcast. It's like you and your friends, because my poor husband is very anti-Bravo. He's not a fan, and he is subjected to me like ranting about stuff all the time, and I know he does not care. So like getting to talk about Bravo at these markets is just a dream because I meet like-minded people. They give me recommendations of things to watch and ideas for books like that they want to see. And, you know, I get to just doodle and draw all day these things that I've watched forever.
You've cultivated a life where you can like balance your artistry and your creativeness with like the shows you love. Yeah. And I have to say I can totally relate with that by making this space.
It's just finding like your niche, and pop culture and dirty humor. That kind of stuff has always appealed to me. So finding like my audience and like-minded people has been really fun, and getting to sell at markets and just meet people like you that I will start yapping the minute I get an opportunity to talk about Bravo, because I don't get to in my actual life.
Right.
And I'll sit on the couch and draw all day and just be like, oh, I want to make a Vanderpump Rules book, so I'm going to put on that season again and watch from the beginning. I'm notes.
I love it. I mean, I love it. Just when I'm sitting and watching Bravo now too, especially now that I've been doing this podcast this year, and I'm like thinking of things in a way where I'm going to have a discussion with somebody about it. It almost like I already do watch it, planning to have a discussion with somebody about it, but it might just be like a customer or a person I'm passing by. Like it might be a friend over coffee, but it's not like an intentional, like I get to geek out here. Yeah. And we get to like let's dig into the psychology and the sociology and the anthropology of like the choices these people are making. And then from a filmmaking perspective for me, because I'm a filmmaker, I love looking at the characters as a whole. And then I love pulling back the fourth wall and being like, what was Lala's goal here? Like, where's she coming from as a professional reality performer?
And like in the last season when she was just like, hey,
you're not showing up
Ariana
for the scene work and you agreed to do it, which I mean, I was not team Lala at all. I'm so passionately team Ariana, but I do try to keep myself open to seeing like where they're coming from. Like, I think that the after show this week, we'll talk about it later, opened my eyes to a lot on Michelle's end, and I was giving her a lot of grace. I was giving Michelle a lot of grace up until
she's a toughie, but like, just to go back to the Lala thing, I feel like the producers were using Lala and Sheena to like push their agenda and try to get like Ariana to come forth with more stuff. It was the production's fault from the beginning for not just breaking the fourth wall and saying like, hey, this is the aftermath of Scandival. Here's all the stuff Ariana's doing. Like it just forced these fake situations. Like, I'm sorry, a water drinking freaking party, like
lame,
water tasting.
So lame.
So stupid. Let's see like the aftermath of Ariana like having to deal with so much like publicity things and then coming home to the house with like Anne cleaning and all that shit. Like,
yes, Vanderpump Rules.
Like, what was happening?
Vanderpump Rules was such a trailblazing show. It would have been incredible if they could have walked into that season and we could have seen scenes, quote scenes, of them talking about how they thought Ariana was going to show up to shoot. If they were talking about how someone was on the phone with her for 2 hours the night before, with Kristen on the phone too, or they were all at her house talking to her about how she was actually going to do the season and what was involved in her like deciding to do the season. And then tying all like that stuff, and then seeing conversations of like Lala agreeing to go meet Schwartz, who played pickleball with Randy. Let's not forget the unforgivable
They all
sin.
had a rooftop meeting about it because she had to say like,
I know. And then she like went back on it immediately the next season because she had to do, quote, a scene with somebody. Yeah. And she's like, okay, I guess I'll do it with at least with Schwartz and find some common ground. But like, I would rather see her having the discussion about, well, who am I going to do the scene with? Because I hate this person. I hate this person. That would have made the show so much better.
They should have done that. And I mean, we're used to producer clownery, like, with the show. I think Vanderpump Rules has always been one of the most real reality shows that have ever been on. Like, I don't think these people have been able to fake who they are fundamentally as people. But there was like the clowning of like, okay, let's pretend season 4 that they're still working at the restaurant, or like trying to shoehorn in Lisa for every 3 minutes. Like, oh, Stassi, you're going to like be my stylist or my event planner. Like all that bullshit. Like, okay, whatever.
I think that was all Lisa.
100%.
Lisa's like, no, I want this restaurant to still look like they're here so tourists show up.
Yeah. Oh, let's start the scene with Lisa coming in. Oh, Lala, how many reservations do we have today? Oh, it's all booked. I'm sorry. Pump is like gross.
I know.
Or sir. Sexy Unique restaurant. It's so gross. And whatever.
It's empty. It's empty.
The show made it popular. Sure, whatever. But like, and it was.
And poor Peter's still there. You want to talk about someone who's trapped in prison? He's trapped. Not like maybe Sheena's stuck in her own world. Maybe Tom is stuck in his own world. Like the stars of the show. But poor Peter.
Don't you remember Peter's film though? Didn't he make a sci-fi film?
Yeah, and he's part of a pirate guild. So he's like, you know what I mean? Like he's super pirate obsessed, and there's these like this thing called the Pirate Guild, and like these community. It's a community, so I'm not judging it. Like literally, it's the same as like going to church or whatever. It's people finding their groups, and I think a pirate guild is better than the KKK. So I'll take it.
If you go to my Instagram, you'll see that last weekend I went to the Ren Fair and we were pirates. So.
I love that. We went opening weekend because my sister and I get way too hot, so we always go opening weekend to the Ren Fair.
100 degrees last Saturday.
We don't do it. We used to just pick a random weekend. Now we like intentionally go first or second weekend of the season.
So smart because it was awful.
And then the third weekend there was that DJ there, the whole DJ thing. Did you hear about that? So if you missed the tea on the Ren Fair, okay, they brought a DJ weekend 3.
The hot goss about the Ren Fair.
And she was stationed, if you are familiar with the LA Ren Fair, which is a beautiful venue.
Fair.
The Renaissance and Pleasure Fair. If you're familiar with the layout in LA, it's beautiful. It's next to the dam, and it actually has this gorgeous little river that runs beside it.
It's very close to Azusa, where Sheena is from, so we're tying it back.
That's right. And one year I was even there, and like a big storm was coming over the mountain. I thought I was like Mordor was on the other side, and I was like, and so I was like, this is so magical. Like I love a Ren Fair. I love people watching. I love actors. So I love a Ren Fair. I love to watch them do their thing.
I love an excuse to craft an outfit.
The DJ came, and there was like I guess a ton of people came for the DJ, and there was like a giant line for parking, and people were pissed about it being so crowded and the vibe of it all being ruined, and it went viral on TikTok.
I saw all the TikToks of people trying to leave for like 4 hours.
Isn't that insane?
I can't. There's honestly like, I don't know if there's anything that I care about enough to
wait in traffic for 4 hours. No, me either.
I hate driving. I hate the car. I should also clarify, I am from Philadelphia originally.
Okay.
I've lived in LA for 20 years. My accent is still here.
Okay. It'll come out.
It'll come out when I get excited. Or if I talk to my brother, which I did on the way here. So
okay. So it's really fresh.
It's like Florida, horrible. Like I understand. It's like a weird mix. So I hear it when it comes out. I'm like, I need to call this out because I will get on Brittany and her fucking accent.
It feels so overdone.
It is so put on. I cannot stand Brittany.
Thomas
for so many reasons.
does a great Brittany.
Like that's all. She's like goofy. And I'm sorry, isn't Zack like one of her best friends and also from Kentucky?
Yeah, and so is Nicole Scherzinger. Did you see all
that?
So this week, if you missed it, this week online or on radio, Andy interviewed Nicole Scherzinger, and she mentioned that Zack was her assistant back in Kentucky before, and all he did was talked about reality TV and how he wanted to be a reality TV star. And I'm so happy he's doing it because he's one of my favorite people on the show right now.
I cannot believe how I have completely turned around on Zack, and I love him now.
Season
1, I was like, oh.
I have a really soft spot for really dramatic and emotionally unstable gay men. I'm very forgiving. And so great. I've always been team Zack, but I feel like he's about to hit his stride. Mm-hmm. And I love that he's like fighting back. And like literally Janet makes a knock at him at the table at the winery. And he's like, is Janet making a joke with, Janet, she's like, hi Burton.
Oh, babies.
He's like, is Janet and I joking? Are we friends again? The world is crazy. And I'm like, that's all it took. And that rubber, that bouncy backness and that forgivability is what's going to make him a great reality star.
Absolutely.
Because you can't stay mad at your quote friends, and you got to accept their crappy apology and you got to move forward. I watched Jesse Solomon an hour ago on the new episode of Summer House, sitting down with Lexi being dumped. And I didn't see him upset about the relationship ending, which is fine.
Yeah, look at how you're making me look.
Exactly. The first thing he said to her was, I don't like how you're making me look in this moment like a liar. And that's what he kept saying. And then he walked away and that's what he was saying.
And then he literally goes in the house and says the same shit again.
I just want to fight him. I don't physically want to hurt anybody often, but Jesse Solomon and that like dinosaur smile that he has, like it's a side dinosaur smile, and his teeth. I want to and I know he would destroy me. I don't have any ability to fight, but it would just feel very good to punch him.
It's the Carl thing of like, is he that attractive or is he just tall?
Neither of them are attractive.
They're just
tall, and that goes so far in this world.
And let me tell you right now, as someone who dated comedians and every sort of kind of guy in my 20s, I ended up marrying someone who is a half an inch shorter than me. I'm 5'9". And
I mean, I stand short kings.
Look,
so.
And well, I mean, we're going to say
they got personality.
He's probably 5'8". But like the best guy in the world. So you know what? I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Who cares? You want to be with a giant tall guy who thinks his shit is amazing and will talk to you like garbage? Like whatever, Jesse Solomon. You are not that great. But also,
there's so many people
in his 20s. He's like 29, isn't he?
Yeah, well, yeah, he's like 29.
And
he's essentially
think Lexi
30.
Is like a child, but like
she's 26. She's 26. I lived in New York for years, and I've lived in LA for years. And what just fell in my hair?
I think it was a leaf.
Oh my God. Okay. Don't attack me, snake plant. I was like, am I under attack? No, I lived in New York for years. I've lived in LA for years. And there is definitely a population of women that define status somehow by height. I don't know if that's like a weird, like, evolution thing.
Oh, it's men everywhere. Like,
I don't understand why they're of more value. I think that like I look at, and maybe it's because I've done so many like red carpets and I see how people flip a switch when they meet someone famous, like literally that you see the gaga in their eyes and like they can't stop smiling and saying yes. And I just feel like I look at stuff like that as like, how is the natural environment programming this person? And I just think that honestly, like if they're over 6'2", there's something wrong with them. Because, just based on how everyone reacts to the tall person.
Yeah, no, I can see it, definitely. And when I think back,
but he is a great new Carl. Like I love how they went out and got. I think there's been a couple people online talking about how Jesse Solomon is the Tom Sandoval to Wes's Schwartz.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
like the little bromance,
not just the bromance, but like also the way that they think. I don't think
stunted child like fraternity bro.
Yes,
who think they're not problematic because they are not like homophobic with each other. Like they're happy to like lay in a trampoline together and they think that they're so like progressive and amazing.
Yeah.
But really they're just still a bunch of sexist manipulators that are using these women to...
they're objectifying women.
I mean, the way...
He saw Lexi and wanted to fuck her.
Yeah.
He saw her and they literally didn't even acknowledge Bailey.
I know, right? Oh,
they literally and told her, and he told her how attractive she was. And I get it. Like, I think that people in, like, women in hetero relationships, or most people would be flattered if someone met them for the first time and went like goo-eyed on them and thought they were so beautiful.
It's also a line between that and love bombing. And he 100% love bombed, got her on the hook. Mm-hmm. And then when she would reciprocate in any way, which I think she was extremely cautious. I mean, this is all, of course, what we have seen. But I do believe that, like,
we saw her clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Communicating, like, "Hey, I don't hook up with people unless I'm in a relationship with them. Hey, I don't do this, and I want to get to know you more." And he was like, "What do you need?" Blah blah blah, and like throwing it at her all week.
Meeting the family, and then behind her back is saying like, "Oh, well, I only did that because she was insecure about this." And no, he was just giving her little nuggets, like the guy who, you know, you want to like be engaged with someone and they're like giving you the little breadcrumbs and saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm thinking about this. Oh, I have to hit this milestone, this milestone." It's like just these little breadcrumbs. Like, I'm going to have you meet my parents. And yeah, I'm really serious about you. And he wasn't.
And she would call him out on it, and then he would do it. And then he would go talk to his friends about how he didn't want to do it, even though he's the one that suggested it.
And I feel like I judged her at first because I think she's way more emotionally intelligent than I was expecting her to be. Mm-hmm. The way that girl, I should say woman, sorry. The way that woman clapped her hands and said, "No, everyone come to this table right now. We're all going to talk about it," because
I love a house meeting.
He was talking out both sides of his mouth and saying different shit to all his friends to make her look quote unquote crazy or clingy or whatever kind of trope of a, you know, ridiculous
jealous
female. Yeah. Like, pitting these two women against each other. How original. But the way that
it's like Luke again. It's Luke again.
And her just bringing it up at the table again at the dinner. It was like, tell me, like, what did you say? And like, no wonder I do not trust Sierra, because all you have done all summer is put it in my head that I cannot trust Sierra. Meanwhile, she's telling me like, hey, like, I don't give a shit about him at all. Like, what are you talking about?
And then spoiler for this week's episode. It felt so... No. I'm doing this. I'm about to drop something. Spoiler for this week's episode. It felt so good to see her play him at his own game. She said, "You want the attention on the show? You want the storyline? I'm going to dump you on the show." Mm-hmm. So she made him feel good all week, and then came into this week's episode. First day they're there. Can we sit on the balcony? And dumps him on the balcony. And that's, I like Lexi. I want Lexi there next summer. And honestly, my opinion with Summer House, I think it needs to be all new young blood. That place is about partying. It's the Hamptons. Don't make it feel old and snoozy, even though half of the Hamptons is old and snoozy. Make it feel fun again. Like, bring back Sammy. Bring back. I loved Julia. I love Jules.
Justice for Jules.
Yeah, I loved her. Like, and people being pissed at Emerald for bringing people home and fucking them. The only thing I'm pissed about is he's not showing them on the show. If you come into the house and you fuck, you're on camera. That's the rule.
Very true. That's the
rule.
Or, you know, show them when they're leaving, like the very Jersey Shore to go all the way back. You know,
it doesn't matter. We don't remember anybody from the Jersey Shore that fucked. Maybe the blonde girl in the hot tub, but that was it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I love it.
When you're on these reality shows and you're hooking up, if you come in for the one night fling, I can promise you, no one's gonna remember you were on that show.
I love the idea of like Lindsay kind of retooling like Roni and kind of building the show around her in a way, if they were to do something like that, or a show around Lindsay.
Andy did say on his show that he was taking Lindsay around and trying to see if she'd be a good fit for Roni. But then they just announced that it's going to be on pause. So maybe it'll be a next year thing.
Return to on pause.
Yeah, return to on pause. But I think that I think the most successful thing they can do is a modern day version of The Hills, where they bring the girls are in Manhattan. I loved seeing the bikini release this week. I love watching them go and meet and have drinks during the week and talking about what's going on. Let's see Paige setting up for the Amazon videos. Let's see Hannah and Paige doing the podcast or getting ready to travel and maybe they're going on a date with someone or they're debriefing about a date. Let's see the city life with those girls and let's just cut them off of Summer House.
I just feel like...
Because I don't think Paige is coming back next year. I think they're already...
she's too big.
They're already making that clear.
She's too big. She doesn't need it.
Well, and she doesn't want to be in that drama anymore. She's sitting out of all of it.
I don't want to say it's beneath her, but I mean, financially, it doesn't even make sense for her to do it because she doesn't need the exposure.
Well, I just don't think it helps her brand anymore.
No, absolutely. But like,
especially now that they have their own show on YouTube.
Oh, I didn't see the...
I haven't watched it yet either, but I know it's there.
Like, I don't know. I feel like these shows are successful when it's like an actual relationship that's already been like built up. Like these people have known each other for years.
Don't get me wrong. I think Kyle should stay on the show. Actually, I think
Kyle, he's a complicated thing for me too. Because like he's so dumb. But
he's the president of the fraternity.
I know.
No matter what happens, there's some magic juice about Kyle that I can hate him, but I feel
he has made me laugh so much.
He's the heart of the Summer House though.
He's a little gossip. Like I just love when he's like scurrying around
he's
trying
emotional.
To listen to a fight.
He's still drinking. He'll go out. He'll party. Now that he's a DJ, there's going to be more storylines there. I don't know if Amanda needs to. I think Amanda should go with the City Girls, and maybe she makes a cameo. A couple weekends she comes out. But I think it might be juicier if it's just Kyle partying with all the younger people.
I do
bring
love
Schwartz in. Schwartz was fun to see. What do you think about Schwartz? What do you think about Schwartz being on Summer House? People are saying they like it. Some people are saying they don't like it.
I mean, sure, pop in. Say hello, but he wasn't even, other than him saying goodbye, I don't feel he was very memorable.
No, I don't think.
It was just when he said goodbye and like made an event about Vanderpump Rules when I was like, oh, this is funny.
But I think, well, did you watch him on Winter House?
See, I never got into Winter House. Okay, so I only started watching Summer House right when the season where Carl and Lindsay broke up started.
Okay,
so was that
the first one? The first breakup.
No, like the engagement when it, like the first episode. So that's when everyone was talking. I know. I was late to the game. No, I went back.
Oh, you did.
So because I remember when it did the weird crossover of the backdoor pilot, like they did with Beverly Hills and Vanderpump, when it was like Stassi and Kyle called her Steve Jobs. Like I saw that and I never got into it because I couldn't get past the Workus twins.
Yeah.
So I never watched it. And then all the shit with Lindsay and Carl breaking up, like, was happening. And I was like, I need to, like...
Go back.
So I went back to maybe season 3 after the Workus twins, like, left. Because, again, being at these markets, someone was like, no, you can just start it at 3. Or everyone was like, start at the COVID season. I didn't. I went a couple before the COVID season. And let me tell you, that was a really good couple of weeks because I breezed through that shit so fucking fast.
Me too.
Sorry, I cursed.
It doesn't matter.
But I went through it so fast and I loved it. And I was on the edge of my seat and now I'm fully committed into it. I love it. Mm-hmm. But then since I watched it after the fact, I was like overwhelmed by like, well, what season of Winter House coincides with this season? Like, if I start season 1 of Winter House, is that after season 5 of Summer House? Like, what is the timeline? I should have looked it up. It's the same thing with 90 Day
Reddit has
Fiancé.
it, I'm sure. But honestly, it doesn't even matter. You could just go binge the Winter House and you'll see the characters. And now that you've watched Summer House, you'll be like, oh, here's Luke. Here's Tom Sandoval. Here's Schwartz. Here's blah. And here's how they come into...
Well, because the Austin and Sierra stuff all happened from Winter House.
Yes.
See, I can get the crumbs that they give you on Summer House.
You got it.
Yeah.
But it's still good. I think that someone like Schwartz needs to... He does feel comfortable with the Summer House group. And I think if he spent a summer with the Summer House group, now that he's had some time outside of his 22-year-old's relationship and he's back on the market again, I don't think Schwartz has truly done any of the work. So I think that he's gonna slip back into wanting to fit in with the boys, which has always been his number one problem that got him into trouble. Is like something that I heard recently that I was not surprised by, but I was excited to hear because it was like titillating, was I think it was on Jax's podcast.
Oh, geez.
I know.
The mind of a man.
That or no, I couldn't have been that. Maybe it was Hot Mike.
That's his one-man show.
I know. I haven't watched it yet or listened to it yet. But it was that or it was like Bravo's Hot Mike. or it was Nick Vile's interview with Tom Sandoval, is one of them. But somebody said, God, it's killing me that I can't remember. But somebody said that back in the day, Jax would try to give Schwartz as many drinks as possible when they all lived together and they were fucking around. There were 3 models in the same apartment. Jax was sleeping in the dining room.
And he had sheet girls. Is that what they call it? The girls that came into his little makeshift
bedroom with a bed sheet or hanging up.
How do I pull this from my brain?
And so
crazy.
Jax would try to get Schwartz to see how much he could get Schwartz to drink. And that's why Schwartz would black out. And then he would push girls onto him.
Yeah. And then he could use that as ammunition because he's like, oh, you're not going to tell my secrets because I got dirt on you.
Exactly.
And it was like always this fear.
And you always suspect something like that was going on, but to hear them say it from the horse's mouth was like, it blew my mind.
Yeah,
it blew my mind.
Absolutely. That's all Jax Taylor's MO has ever been. It's like deflection and, oh, you're no angel,
you're not better
sweetheart.
Than me. You're not
no
better
angel.
than me.
But, I'll give Brittany her flowers with this one when she was like, I'll pass a drug test, will you? That shut him up with that. You're no angel, sweetie. Because instantly she's like, you're addicted to coke. He's like, oh, you've never done it? And she came right back with that.
Yeah. And I'm so happy she did.
Yeah, that was a moment where I was like, good on you, Brittany. Because I cannot stand Brittany.
She just really can't. She doesn't give us those moments often where she says the right thing and it's so pointed. I have to get into the Valley this week. They're still in Santa Barbara. We just finished seeing the first day, and there was the car racing and Jax blowing up Brittany's phone and Jesse saying that he's the one that told Jax that they're going to Santa Barbara for a trip. And like, I get it. I feel like there is a certain like layer of respect for Jax and Brittany the group has. And
he's a producer of the show. He created the show. So we have to have reverence to him.
I feel like they do. They do. Because later we see Jesse like bow to Brittany.
They're like kissing
at the wine tasting.
Which is weird because it's like, hello, Kristen is your freaking
She's the
savior.
Queen. Bow down. The first thing we see in this episode is Zack and Brittany in bed. And on Zack's nightstand, this is my first hell no moment.
Oh, this is a yes.
This is a yes for you. Shut up. This is a hell no moment for me. This nightstand that he's got that has a 2-liter Diet Coke on it, Pop-Tarts, and an open tub of sour cream chip dip.
Look,
gross.
If you're in a party house rental and
gross.
You're doing nothing but drinking, who gives a shit? You're going to be drunk in bed with your best friend, eating some dip.
Spilling it in the bed, putting a towel on top.
I'm telling you right now, you know what my favorite thing to do on vacation is? My favorite thing to do on vacation is get like a bunch of desserts and sit in the bed and eat the desserts at night at the end of the night.
I do like bed chips. Chips.
See? What's better?
In a hotel room.
Do you need dip? Yeah, that's essentially the same thing. Oh,
but I'm not going to sleep with the sour cream, like sour. It's sour cream and onion.
Rest of it. It's like
not even the lid on it.
Oh, who cares?
It was so gross.
Whatever. It's not
he
your
fell
place.
asleep. He fell asleep with it on him.
You're on vacation. You throw that empty tub out. You're laying in bed.
We
with your
respectfully
friend.
disagree.
I will gladly wake up with a chip stuck to my forehead and having some dip. Living the best life.
You know
when
what?
It is not your bed. Whatever. Controversial take.
I feel like when you're 80 and you look back, or 90 and you look back on that, that'll be a good memory.
Yeah, you're laying with your bestie on vacation. It's, waking up.
Brittany thought it was hilarious.
Oh yeah.
She loved it, even though Jax was already texting her.
I will say the combo of a Pop-Tart and some onion dip is kind of disgusting.
I know, and I know that Jessie stocked that fridge because we learned last season the first thing that I ever agreed with Jessie on in the history of the Valley was how to stock an Airbnb. And Jessie does this whole thing about how to give a Tom Schwartz vocabulary word, diatribe. Tom Schwartz has quite the vocabulary. And
he went to med school, didn't he?
whatever. He repeats the same 15 words, and I'm going to make a t-shirt one day with the words on it because it's the same vocabulary. And if you listen to Tom Schwartz talk a lot, he loves to pull those words up. Diatribe is one of them. He loves diatribe.
He's silent on the after show because he's just disassociating and staring off into the distance when Jax talks because he's like, I don't want to be associated with this. I lost everything because of Sandoval, and now I'm hitching my wagon to this psycho.
It's horrible. And that's why I think Andy's like letting him to jump on Summer House, letting him jump on all these other shows to see if anything else fits better. Send him to Charleston. Schwartz would do great in Charleston because he's tall enough and all those girls would chase Charleston's not, we'll get into that. But anyway.
Yeah, again, ADHD, I will just like circle into 15 different subjects in one.
As long as it's Bravo.
Yeah. It's all related. It all connects.
Yes. So they're in Santa Barbara. Jax is already blowing up Brittany's phone. He's saying now that he's bipolar.
Which is my favorite thing in the world. For Brittany to just roll over, pick up her phone, and just... We all know Jax would have said it out loud anyway, but for her just to be like, oh, Jax is bipolar. Like, girl, like you just... Yeah. Did he want you to say that on camera? But who gives a shit?
She doesn't...
Which is like...
She's, in her mind, in that moment, I think she's happy there's a diagnosis that isn't that he's an asshole. A diagnosis that she could maybe, if he gets his shit together, forgive him. I still think that at this point, she is on the... She desperately wants it to end, and she hasn't seen... I did this really great thing on my last week's podcast where I pulled the audio from her podcast with Kristen Doty.
Oh, yes.
Addressing Jax Taylor's statements on the Bravo hot mic before the season started. Yeah. And like listening to him lie.
Oh, he's a...
And then listening to her be like, no, this is what happened.
Yeah, the prescription sat in my drawer
the way she's talking there sounds tonally different to me than what she's doing here.
Yeah.
There's still a hint, even if she says it's never going to happen in these moments, I'm still seeing a glimmer of what if.
And I do really appreciate, like, this is a whole nother complication thing where I think Zack is a better friend to her than she is to Zack.
Yes.
But I think she's in her own downward spiral of chaos, and she's very complicated for me because I do not like Brittany, but the way that people talk about her online, you can tell that they have never had experience with being in an abusive relationship.
That's right.
Which I have been in a very, I don't want to say similar, but with a narcissist, with like a complete monster of a man who completely takes like your sparkle. No, I don't have to make a joke of it, but you lose yourself in that, and they systematically will beat you down and make you feel like you are nothing.
You second guess every choice that you make until you're an empty vessel.
You're walking on eggshells. You're making your life is making excuses for them and pretending that everything is okay.
Yeah,
because you are so fearful constantly, and
that they could snap on you.
That again. They can snap. That someone will think less of you. Because you're with someone who, if they see the truth, I couldn't get him out of my apartment. I lived with my sister for a month.
Oh my God.
It was so bad. And
9 months and he was squatting. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I couldn't get him out of my apartment. Oh, like how Jax wouldn't leave. I'm not kidding.
Who wouldn't leave the house? Oh my God. Triggering.
I did have this because I knew I was going to get into this. And I have to say, like, I remember you talking last week's episode saying like it is good to show this because
it's going to save lives.
It is going to save lives. And I will say that I remember seeing something online or listening to something, and some woman, and I wish I knew who it was because it helped me so much get out of it, recommended this book. It is called The Psychopath Test by John Ronson.
Okay.
And it opened my eyes to so much of the behaviors that he did to me. And it very much goes into like the difference between like sociopaths, narcissists, and psychopaths. And, you know, people throw around the word narcissist or whatever all the time.
It's buzzy.
It really goes into it. But the way that it was like reading my relationship, the way that like the narcissism of devaluing, like deflecting, having an enemy, love bombing and getting you on the hook and then making you feel like you are nothing and you are so lucky to have them that if you leave them, no one will ever love or care about you again. And I mean, I see that man in Jax so much to the point where like my weight was always an issue. And like, he would talk about it. This is in 9 months.
So controlling.
I was like meeting his grandmother and I had like a hair tie on my wrist and he was like, oh my God, like I can't believe you had your hair tie on your wrist. Like, it's shit.
What?
It's all control. Like, it is crazy. And
that's insane.
But it doesn't start like that. It's like,
yeah,
the beginning, it's just like, oh my God, what a whirlwind. Everything is so great. And then
he sees me.
And then it's just little tiny things like that where it starts to build into such a control that you don't even know who you are anymore. And you feel like you can't stand on your own to get out of it. And thankfully, like, I had somewhere to go, like stay at my sister and her boyfriend's house. And I don't want to like dox anything, but whatever, I don't give a shit. He lied about something so minuscule. And I found out about, like, we were having a fight. I was staying with my sister, just to like have a breather.
Yeah.
And I found out that he lied about this one little thing. Like, he had like a weird, like, I don't want to say tick. He had this thing. And he told me it was one thing that happened when he was doing something, whatever. And I found out randomly from his mother. She just goes, oh, well, he has this like diagnosis, right? And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, oh, well, he has this thing. And it was a diagnosis for a syndrome, right? And he lied and said that it was like this thing was brought on from an injury from some like sports thing, right? So it was like almost like, oh, this sprain, let's say a sprain. This sprain that I have is from playing sports, not from me having this like nerve disorder, right? And it kind of like opened my eyes in such a way where I was like, this is such a non-entity. Like, why would you lie about this to like your partner who you live with?
Right.
Like, what, am I going to look at you differently because you have like a nerve issue? Like,
yeah,
this makes
so
no
weird.
sense to me. So that honestly opened my eyes and I was like, I don't know this person. I do not know this person at all. Because if you were going to lie about something so dumb, like on the first fucking date, who are you? And then it kind of like steamrolled into like, oh, well then this was clearly a lie because this doesn't make sense with this. And,
thank God you had the space to do it.
Yeah, I'm so lucky that I had.
Because
I was able to
watching this week's episode and talking about Brittany, I think that something that I've also been informed about in the past is that in certain relationships like this one where he's just so controlling, your brain gets addicted to the stress hormones that it's releasing. And I think that is what happens later at the dinner table when Brittany starts like getting angry at Danny and Nia's relationship.
Yeah.
And
projecting.
Yeah. And she's totally projecting, but she's also like gets herself worked up so quickly. And I don't think that's always a reflection of her. She usually will actually sweep everything under the rug so quickly and like be kind of a doormat for everyone to walk over.
Well, I mean, that's what, and it's kind of, obviously she's just projecting her own issues onto Nia because all she has done for the past however many 10 years is pretend that everything's fine and, oh no, Jax isn't doing cocaine, like whatever. So she's projecting onto Nia, like, show yourself, like, girl, you've only really been honest, like, for this season.
Right.
You've been portraying like him as a great father
and
all
barely,
this stuff.
and still barely.
Still protecting him. And I understand, like, in a sense, it is your son's father, like, to get into Jesse and Michelle, like, you shouldn't be putting a lot of this shit out there because your kid is going to see it one day.
Let's talk about Jesse and Michelle. I'm gonna give Brittany some flowers, and you're probably gonna hate this, Christina, but when Jesse and Michelle start fighting at the winery.
Oh, yeah, when she runs over.
Oh, wait, first I have to say Luke was so hot when he went under the hood of the car and said something was cracked. And I was like, oh my God. And I made a TikTok about how hot Luke was. He's on my like list. He's on my list. Good. I love that. No, when Jesse and Michelle start fighting and Brittany intervenes, and this is when I'm talking about them kissing the ring, Brittany intervenes and says, no, right now you say that you made this lie up and that she's not a hooker or whatever.
And he did. He fell on the sword instantly.
And he did it instantly. He didn't. He's like, yeah, I made that up.
But like,
he's like, I never said that was true.
Oh, I'm just trying to find out the mole in the group chat. But then he brought it up. He's like, you're a hooker.
He literally, because Michelle is shown that she's reactive to these following things so far.
Yes.
One, that him saying that she's a hooker. I do think that Michelle does come from maybe a conservative. I won't necessarily even go as far as saying she is a Republican because I don't know. But I do think she comes from
watch out. This is getting into season 1.
I do think she comes from a conservative background.
Yeah.
And I do think she is an ambitious and advantageous person. In the after show this week, we learn that when she met Jesse, he's 8 years older than her. He was already working on 6-figure home sale deals and she wasn't. And he took her around the world, took her to these homes, showed her how to do the business, and like really handheld her into the industry. So she has benefited from that relationship directly. And I think that, and I'm not being a Jessie apologist, but I am trying to look at the lay of the land and their foundation. And
but everything isn't black and white either.
No,
like you can give someone props. Like I can say I dislike Brittany completely and then also advocate for her and say like what she's going through is horrible and she did this thing right and she did that.
Good.
These are all very complicated, layered people.
Michelle's triggered by being claimed to be a hooker. Or she is also triggered when Jesse threatens to take her child away from her, which makes complete sense. And she is also triggered when Jesse cries or tries to skew his storyline in a way that she doesn't think is authentic.
Yeah.
And those are the 3 things right now that get her so volatile. So he knows that because he is also a manipulator. And so when he goes into the hotel room with her later too and is like, why can't you just be happy for me?
Oh my God. We just stop and give them credit in general for being on a show together is one thing, but like going on this vacation and being in the same house.
Oh, I love it.
What a fucking nightmare. Oh God, I keep cursing.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
What a nightmare situation to put yourself into, but also be like, hey, like we're going to be on TV. We're going to get this paycheck. It's going to give us opportunities. They're both A-types and they're both giving it their best because they want this to be their career now and they deserve it. But it does give like original Vanderpump like vibes where they would throw each other under the bus because they're like, you are not being authentic. And I know you're not telling the truth about this. So I'm going to throw you under the bus. And I feel like we're getting that dynamic, but during a divorce, which is insane.
So juicy.
It's for her to be like, you spent all our money. It's like, ooh.
I know. I want to see the receipts. I hope she comes to the reunion with literally bank statements. That would be so great.
I mean, everyone.
I was talking about these 8-hour lunches where they bought like expensive ass bottles of wine. And like you could see him at the wine table, like correcting Danny on like the legs of the wine and like doing these little things that make him seem.
'Cause he's so cultured.
Well, that's not that. I think Jesse wants to be high status. I think in bro culture, Jesse and Jax started the boys chat. Not only because they're reality TV geniuses, but also because they're like used to this, like, they're both ex-models. Like they want to be these like high status bros.
Yeah.
And they're used to like the camaraderie of knocking women. And they come from, I guess, a demographic or age group where their dads used to shit on their moms. And that was the cool thing to do with the boys. So they're doing that now.
But it's all about appearances and having like the nice car and just, you know, living above your means, no matter the cost to your family or anything, because it's all about appearances. And, oh, I'll just look like I have all this money now, and then we'll get on season 3 of the show, and it doesn't matter. Like, I can spend it now.
Yeah.
So I 100% believe that man has, like, blown through their money.
Yeah. And so to bring it all back, I bravo Brittany for stepping into that fight and making him clarify on camera in the moment, because the second he does that, he can't now use that. He can't weaponize that hooker thing all weekend, which he would have. We would have seen him calling it up later if Brittany didn't like cut that. Yeah. That thing for him. And then he literally, it's like he cut bait and he moved on. Like he'll find another thing to trigger Michelle with. He's like totally a pro at it. It's insane. And
no one can hurt you more than someone that loved you.
I know, but especially Jesse Lawley. Like watching him do it it just feels like someone that's like in season 7 of a reality show, and he's
Absolutely.
like he's a young blood to the game. It's kind of impressive.
Well, that's what's so crazy to me. It's like, how is Kristen Doty in the back seat of this show? Of all these people,
It's
like,
great. She knows what she's doing.
No, but I mean, like, she's now the beacon of like normalcy, and her relationship is totally cool. Like
a perfect pregnant vessel like Janet.
Okay, here's my other question. Okay, you're a mother to be. You have a 9-month pregnancy, right? You give the miracle of life. You're in the hospital. You were holding your baby, your little miracle, and you're looking down at it, and you say, "I'm going to name you Janet." How the fuck does that happen? How do you look at a baby and say, your name is Janet?
I don't know. It's an Ohio choice.
Oh.
It's not for me.
Her casseroles.
Maybe
Janet.
she was named after like her grandma, her
No offense
aunt.
to any Janets out there. I'm so sorry.
All the Janets hate you now. They all hate you.
Janet. Well, she's given you the bad name.
Janet?
Janet. She's tainting the well of Janets. She's the Karens of Janets.
I don't know. I think I think everyone's gonna come around on Janet this year.
I can't.
She's spinning this whole Midwestern narrative.
Her casseroles
and her Dave & Buster's. And like I think she's also somebody who's playing at like season 7 of the game. Yeah. Can I tell you why?
Because she's a fan.
Maybe that's why. She.
I just can't wait for Kristen to yell at her.
So here's another hell no moment I had. I said, "Oh hell no, Janet," because you. Was this my? Oh yeah, okay. I was like, "Oh hell no, Janet." She went to the one person that has not forgiven Danny from like last Halloween for telling her go get daddy a drink.
Go get daddy a drink and then grabbing
her girlfriend's ass. Listen, I know, unconsented, but whatever. They had they sat down, they apologized. She brought it back up on the show months later, and Danny then gave a very direct apology again.
Yes.
It's clear she's not over it, or she's just making the choice for her own narrative to not be boring this season like she was last season, to not give up on it.
I can understand like being creeped out by someone who is just a fucking blackout drunk.
I get it.
Yeah, and seeing like,
don't touch my girlfriend.
He's drinking again.
I get it.
Yeah, don't put your hands on me. Ugh, like you're drinking again. Now I got to deal with this.
But if you really weren't into being around that person and like that whole vibe, I don't think you would weave your way into the narrative of trying to paint the picture that he's an alcoholic. So I think Jasmine is slightly like dipping a toe into the pool of reality TV and like going for it.
She's from The Bachelor.
Right. And I have to go back and watch that season.
I watched it. I used to watch The Bachelor all the time. And then again, it was just like 4 hours, like a week. It was
But Janet's
insane.
a genius because Janet goes to that one person.
Yeah,
who she knows will not let it go. And she says, I was just in the closet with Danny and he was taking secret shots. And I do think,
to make it sound so insidious.
Can I tell you, I think, you know why I think Danny did the shot in the closet?
Why?
One, maybe because the bottle was there, but I actually think it's because Danny is an actor in the Valley that isn't necessarily at the top of his acting game. Maybe voiceover game.
Being a working actor is 100% like he's a great job to have. You are constantly working.
Yes, he's chosen to be on a reality show, and his wife is a pageant queen. They're having discussions about what it's going to be like on the show. All of these people are having strategic conversations about their storylines, what they're promoting, and whatever's going on. And I just think that if Danny wants to drink like a frat boy, because Danny's a frat boy too.
Yeah.
All these guys are frat boys. If he's going to drink like a frat boy, he's trying to do it off camera. I don't think he's hiding it from Nia. I don't think he's hiding it from the group. I think he's doing it off camera so he doesn't look like a sloppy reality star.
Very true. Because I can't tell you the last time like I went to a restaurant with my friends and the first thing we did was order like tequila shots. And that's what they do on all of these shows. And I'm like, that is so gross to me. I can't imagine.
As someone who works at a restaurant that serves tequila, everybody does that.
Really?
Yeah, and I think it also is like, one, they're on camera, so they just want to like kind of get the jitters out, so they'll order shots. Yeah. 2, they do it on camera, so they look like they're all friends and they're toasting and doing shots and they're partying and having a good time. Like that's a very Vanderpump vibe, and it's a younger
Vita
vibe.
Tequila.
Or Vita Tequila. And I just think so. I think people do it, but I don't think that this group of friends on the Valley is all in on it. I think if you were like, Lindsay, which Valley cast members would be doing shots in the kitchen together? I think you could rope in Jasmine and her girlfriend for a shot.
Yeah.
Zack would be doing a shot. Brittany would definitely be doing a shot.
Shots, baby! Isn't that what she did last year?
Yeah. Non-pregnant Kristen would be doing the shot. Luke would do the shot.
Yeah.
I think Danny would do the shot. Jesse would do the shot. I don't think Nia or Michelle would do the shot, but that's kind of like, they always kind of find each other, Michelle and Nia, in that way.
Yeah, I mean, just him saying like,
all
she had to say was like, oh God, he was drinking all day. He's taken a drunk nap.
Well,
like,
who cares?
There is nothing wrong with that.
Honestly, a lot of people that rent an Airbnb or go away for the weekend with their friends and the kids aren't there are getting shit-faced. Most people are still getting shit-faced with their kids there. Yeah. So, I mean, if Danny's doesn't have his kids and he couldn't drink the day before, he said that when he showed up to and the Santa Barbara trip, and one of them was like on camera at the event. It wasn't just the confessional where he said it. He said it twice. So then I believed it. And I know dudes like Danny that didn't get to party day one of the weekend trip, and he had to work the next day, so he got up early. He was driving back to LA.
And he's got all those kids.
Of course he wants to get home and play catch up.
Yeah. No, it totally does make sense. I feel like he's just
just a little bit of a nerd. So then he drank too much and went to bed. He didn't grope anyone. He didn't actually do anything nefarious at all.
He's a short king, and alcohol probably hits him a little harder.
But he just doesn't. He didn't do anything nefarious to warrant the whole conversation. But my hell no specifically here is going to Janet, because I see her stirring the pot, and I see that she is, again, like last season. If you follow the little trail of breadcrumbs back to somebody, it's Janet that's like fueling the fire.
Well, she's just conniving, and there's a point of like, I'll never forgive her for icing out Kristen when it's like, who the hell do you think you are? It's season 1, Kristen.
Who do you think you are? Literally.
For her to like...
And now she's going to feel the wrath back because...
Well, I think this whole thing, like you said, I feel like they sit down and they have a strategy, and she is very aware that people did not like her season 1. And she's like, how can I be more relatable? Let's go to Dave and Buster's. Like, all that shit.
Yeah.
Disgusting thing that she did with the whole, you wish that my child didn't go to full term.
Oh my God.
Literally, I think he was just like, she's being a bitch, and everyone's telling me I can't call her out on being a bitch because she's pregnant. That is not fair. I don't give a shit.
And let's bring it to Brittany and your problem with Brittany, because in this moment, I thought it was despicable of her to, knowing Zack for 14 years.
Yep.
From their hometown, moving to LA and being friends, and knowing him well enough to know when he's in an altered state and feeling something. Because Zack, I think we can all agree watching this show, cannot hide how he feels on his face. At all. The moment it starts, something overwhelms him, you can see it overwhelming him in like 15 different places. We saw it last week with the conversation with Janet when he calls her for Nia, which would have been a high honor if I could have been there to hold Zack's hand during that confrontation. And I just think that it was so shady of Brittany to the very next day go to Janet and say, oh, Zack said he didn't want your pregnancy to go full term at this bar. And it's like, you're not protect, and then try to say that they're trying to protect Janet all season.
Ugh, like I said, like Zack is a way better friend to Brittany than Brittany is to anyone.
Yeah.
I think all she's ever done is protect herself and Jax, and doesn't give a shit about anyone else.
She does throw wicked birthday parties. She likes to, but I was wondering if she was like going to start a business with that or something, because she did a few of those back to back, like coming out of the pandemic. Besides Janet's country fair themed one,
or when Jax broke the birthday cake table. Remember that one?
Yes. She also did like a baby shower for Lala, I think, for Ocean, and so she was doing a lot of those for a minute. I thought she was going to launch a business for sure.
I don't think she has the drive, but I think it's more about like showing that she has everything together and is such a great parent, and look how great her house is, and look at how together her life is.
I agree, because
those parties and Instagram and all that, that's all that's about.
Listening to her podcast when she was talking about Jax going to rehab, she was planning a Thanksgiving dinner for like 30 people the next day.
Yeah. It's about
It's kind of Midwestern values, though.
I do
it's
get
kind
that,
of like
though,
it's like everything's okay at home.
Well, also though, I would, if I was in that situation, and also like, okay, my brain is going a million miles an hour.
Okay, back to Brittany.
I am saying this as if they are not real people and they are characters on a TV show.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
That's very much the context of the entire show.
Because I'm like, I hate her, that bitch.
But disclaimer.
Yeah, like,
hey, Christina reserves the right to change her mind next week. Okay?
And I'll flip-flop.
Yeah.
But like, I can understand being in that situation where like, what do I want to do? Sit in my house on Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving alone with my child and not have my friends around me?
But not cook for 30 people.
Hey, maybe that's like her love language, cooking for people, or like me, I hate cooking. Respect. That would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
But if she likes hosting, if she likes hosting and cooking and like making her Meemaw's beer cheese for all her friends, like, and that's going to make her distracted, feel loved, whatever, good on her.
Okay.
I'm not going to fault her for that.
Okay.
Because maybe that's what she needed in that moment.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be, well, she's in the Airbnb too. So it's not like she's in her house alone, scared that Jax is going to show up. But I 100% think he would just show up at the Airbnb anyway.
He did.
Oh, yeah. In the back door. Like he just went through the slider.
Yeah. He just lets himself in because he's that guy when you're like, please leave. And then he'll go around into your backyard and come in the back door. Like there's no stopping that. He's a bull in a china shop.
He is so gross. He is terrifying. He is a terrifying human being. And everyone's saying like, oh, this
Can
is,
I ask you a question?
Is this his rock bottom? Because it isn't.
It isn't. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Would I be a really bad person if I went and bought a Jax's bar hoodie? Because after the season and like being so shocked that like he has not done one scene not wearing the hoodie, I've gone like full circle on like my disgust for him, but now almost needing
you want to wear it ironically.
Hoodie. Yes.
Okay, so here's what I'll do.
Okay.
Give me a blank t-shirt or a blank hoodie and I will just fucking put the logo on it. We're not going to give him money.
We're not going to give him any money.
We will steal that copyright and we will put it on a shirt.
I was thinking about embroidering like a fake line of Coke on the sleeve.
First of all, now theater of the
distasteful?
mind. She took her finger and put it to her arm, and I honestly thought she was gonna say. I was thinking of tattooing it on my arm.
No,
because when you pointed to your arm, I was really scared.
We would need a Bravoholics Anonymous intervention.
That would be too much. But yeah, I mean, Jax's.
I just feel like now, like I did this. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, where I like hate Carl's concept for I think it's a bad business plan. I think it's a bad name. I think everything about it is horrible. He's putting it in Brooklyn, like no women touring, no the Bravoholics touring Manhattan to go to watch what happens or whatever they're doing in Manhattan.
If Loverboy is failing, what makes you think at the tail end of your
they're going to travel out to Brooklyn to get to this non-alcoholic bar?
And the money that they're pouring into like wrapping a van and all this shit and all these events, like he is the concepts of a plan. Like the man
he doesn't even have concepts of a plan. I hate it. But the point is I've gone full circle on how much I'm hating it. That now I want a soft bar hat because I think it's like gonna fail. It's all gonna fail. Jax's bar's not gonna be around in another 4 months.
It's not Jax's bar.
I know, it's Rocco's. And
he just got some licensing deal, which is actually really smart versus Schwartz and Sandy's because
But Schwartz and Sandy's actually had good food.
But but they poured in all their money to open it. Whereas Jax just probably signed some like licensing deal where he's like, yeah, you put my name on it. You give me a percentage of the beer sales I bring in. He's probably just the same as a club promoter. Like
it's a good deal.
That's probably all it is. Yeah.
But I'm just saying that like, I just don't, nobody's ever there. I drive by it all the time because the actual good bar to go to just around the corner on Riverside is the Thirsty Merchant. And they actually have great drinks and it's a great environment and they have different things going on throughout the week and people even bring their kids there and there's like lawn games that they can play with and stuff. The Thirsty Merchant is better. I don't think...
I used to go to Cat and the Fiddle, which is down the street.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just don't think now that Rocco's is under new management that they're going to... If Jax keeps this trajectory, there's no way they're going to keep it. And or they got to really pump up those viewing parties because I don't know who's even going to that shit there.
I mean, and the fact that like the Bravoverse hasn't like messaged those people and said like, how can you support him like they've been doing with all the theaters?
Because they forgive the guys. They've always, this group, we are, and I'll put myself in this pool because I am now... Yeah. I feel like a Sandoval apologist after Traitors. That
it's the train wreck you want to watch. Like, yeah, they're entertaining as shit. You have to like separate your brain from like am I giving this horrible, horrible man money
at this
by
point,
watching the
I think
show?
it's a risk to take Jax off the air. I think it's a bigger risk for everyone's safety if he's not on a show.
But where's the end?
It's him. I don't want to say it. It's very dark.
But that's the thing. What
It's going to happen unless there's...
Yeah, there's no way this is his rock bottom.
Although I will give him flowers here. Just the fact that he's saying half the stuff he's saying on the after show, even though you can tell that he's maybe done 5% of the work, maybe 3% of the work.
Yeah.
The fact that he's at least saying he has control issues, to hear him say that out loud is incredible.
I feel like he's not saying it to show vulnerability. He's doing it to get like credit for it.
I know.
But it's not like,
I know. He's not doing the healing, but he's at least...
It's not self-reflective.
But if
it's
you
more
look
like, give me a pass because of this. Or, I couldn't help it. I have this bipolar diagnosis. Be like, no, you are not taking your medication and you are not supposed to drink on that medication.
Mm-hmm.
And are you doing that kind of work? And on the after show, he said, I took it for 2.5 weeks. I didn't feel anything with Lexapro. I'm sorry.
And then Brittany confirmed she still has the prescription for the Lexapro.
But by the way,
how do I get that prescription? I want, not for the Lexapro, but the physical, actual prescription of Jax Taylor. They should auction that off for charity.
Put it in
I
the
would frame
clubhouse.
that.
But like, he clearly does not care that any doctor who gave it to him probably said, hey, you're not going to have any sort of effects for 2.5 months or whatever.
He has to answer to the fact that she got to the lowest point where she had to call producers and threaten for all of this to end unless he was sent to a facility.
In the beginning of filming.
Yes.
And he's like, you took my job.
Oh, yeah. That was clear in the texts that we saw on screen.
Which was so scary. But it's very clear that we do not need Jax.
Okay. Are you ready for another Bravo moment?
Always.
So my Bravo moment goes to Michelle, because in this fight that we see between Michelle and Jesse, I feel like she's finally getting this really cathartic moment. I mean, they've done this fight a million times, but I feel like she's finally starting to say the stuff like, you spent all of our money.
Oh, yeah.
And she's starting to get it out.
Well, because she's like, look, you went the lowest you could possibly go. Our daughter is going to see one day that you called me a hooker on television. Like,
when you're taking more money, you're taking more money from a gay man.
The first thing she yelled was, I am the mother of your children. And after that, she's like, you know what? I'm done.
Well, he said, I don't care.
Yeah. And she's like, fine, I'm putting the facade down. I'm not going to do this like Danny and Nia thing where like everything's perfect, whatever. She's like, you're spending our money. Like, you're shady as shit.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. I don't care. I'm not protecting you anymore.
Yeah. Great.
And that's what we need.
And it felt so good.
Expose it all.
And that's it. That's why I'm here. I'm like, give it to him, Michelle.
Show the Venmo transaction.
Show us the bank account statements. Like, literally show us like his crazy lunch, his 8-hour lunches where they're buying $600 bottle of wine. Like, show me it.
By the way, like, I just got married in September.
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks. We've been together for 12 years, so it's formality. But no one sent us like a wedding present through Venmo. What was he's like, it's for, Isabella's birthday, and for our wedding, it was our wedding gift. I'm sorry, what Venmo transaction are you getting as a wedding gift? What? That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
I don't know. They also they represent the uber, historically they've represented uber rich people in buying stuff. And so, I mean, I've had like old bosses like say, hey, go grab dinner on your birthday and send like $50, but like, it's like a reasonable, totally reasonable, buy a drink on me, like
absolutely
monetary value from a coworker, not
hey, happy wedding, here's
thousands of dollars.
And why are you putting that shit on Venmo?
I could see Jesse topping a gay man for some money. Maybe that's why he's getting ahead of the hooker stuff. Maybe that's why he's getting ahead of it.
Just to call someone a hooker in 2025 is just so wild to me.
Oh, he's an old man.
I know. It's just, God, the show just keeps giving.
It just bothers me that she's so reactive to it.
True.
The fact that, and I'm like, what's wrong with sex workers?
Yeah,
Michelle.
And by the way,
and that's why I think she is a Republican.
God love her.
Because
good on her.
She said, you accepted money from a gay man. And I'm like, whoa, hold on a minute.
And then they cut to Zack, by the way, which is like, what the hell?
I know. Wait, you know what? I have a new segment today that I'm going to release, and I do this quite a bit. But today I have a new segment. It's called One Line Only.
people doing coke in your bathroom? Oh, come on.
It ain't about the pasta.
Cocaine?
It's not about the pasta.
And today it's with Zack Wickham. And these are 3 quotes that Zack gave us in this episode that I think were just spectacular. The first one is, I'm the only person who doesn't like the sun, and I'm the only one in the sun. I'm not God's favorite. I thought that was so good.
Oh, but then Jesse switched seats with him. He's not always an asshole.
He's not literally. And so, but I was like, that's me. I hate sitting in this. I don't want to be in the sun at all. I will melt. I can do 3 minutes tops and then I'm going to start complaining. And so like, I totally sympathized with Zack on that one. Okay, here's the next one. Girl, we do not want him. Do not give him to us. And that was in that moment where she was like, you accepted even more money from a gay man.
Oh, all these
Zack.
like Bravo people, like whenever they throw out the homophobic stuff, it's so crazy. It's like, oh yeah, well, I heard he got his dick sucked at the roundup. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
he can't. He's gay. Not that he cheat. God forbid you say your husband cheated on you.
Right, no.
He cheated on you with a gay man. Oh my God, that's the worst thing in the world.
It's crazy.
They do it instantly. So yeah, you might be onto something with the whole like Republican conservative vibe.
I think she is. I just think that those choice words tell you so much.
Mm-hmm.
As a woman that lives in LA, in West Hollywood.
Yeah.
She's a woman that lives in West Hollywood.
Oh, I don't want to bring it back to my hatred of Brittany, but I'm gonna.
Okay.
To take it away from...
No, do it.
Okay.
We'll go over the third line in a minute. Wait, I'll give you the third line.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. And then the third one I got is, can you be sexually attracted to soup? Can you be sexually attracted to soup?
Without a hesitation. Yes.
Yes.
Been there.
That one should be on a shirt. Can you be sexually attracted to soup?
That meal did look good. I'll give it to them.
It did. Okay, wait. Bring it back to your hatred of Brittany.
Bring it back to Brittany. Her being friends with Zack for however many years, and the fact that homophobic pastor shit was so glossed over for her and Jax's wedding.
Yep.
Is so gross to me. That woman clearly would have kept that guy as her pastor.
Yes.
And she only backed down because the producers made her do it. And then she got rewarded by having it be Lance Bass, and she fucking loves that it's Lance Bass. What did Zack think of this? Like,
that's a great question.
What did Zack think of this whole pastor thing? Because the minute Sandoval, rightfully so, stepped up and said, hey, like, what is going on with this? It's everywhere. And she's like, how dare you bring this up? You're like, no. It's actually really fucking valid. If this is the person that you are going to have stand up with you on your supposed biggest day of your life, this is the man that's going to represent like your new life together with your new husband. You are disgusting.
You know what it was? It was like, this guy, did this guy marry? I forget. It's been a minute and a lot of shows that I've watched since. Did this guy marry someone in her family?
Well, he was like the family pastor.
That's why.
Well, yeah, because she had
why.
to bow down to her mother,
Of
and
course.
it's like, oh, that the roast of Jax Taylor, where it was every single disgusting thing he ever did, but all she focused on was like, wait, he possibly kissed a man. Like, that was the scandalous thing that she took from that. And to give Jax, again, credit, he actually said that instead of all the things, that's what your mom cares about. That's kind of messed up.
That is kind of messed up. And that's why in his texts last week, he talked about how fucked up her family was. Did you read that text?
No, I didn't.
So in the slew of texts, he says like, and your family, and out of all your fucked up family, you're the most like fucked up, or whatever is the context. That's not verbatim. But like he calls out how fucked up her family is.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm sure that's all very...
But it's true. That's so messed
tied
up.
in. Yeah, that
I
was
just
the
don't
family pastor. And when you come from a small town, you got to just like...
I know.
turn
And
a blind eye.
I honestly, like, I mean this in a respectful way. I think it's an intelligence thing. Like, I honestly don't think... I don't think Brittany is homophobic. I don't. But I think that her potential lack of intelligence at times... Is that a nice way of saying it? That she's stupid? I think that her
What's
potential...
the nice way to say she's a dumb hick?
Her potential lack of intelligence at times and her toxic situation maybe doesn't let her reach outside of herself to think about other people. And that includes her longtime friend
I would
that's gay.
give her that grace if she still lived in Kentucky and didn't move outside that bubble.
You're right.
When you live in Los Angeles
LA,
and
it's
you're
everywhere.
in West Hollywood. And
There's more gays here than straight men at this point.
And you have access to the internet and everything in the world, and you can broaden your view. It doesn't matter how much percentage of your brain you're using. I think she has burst that bubble of Kentucky and small town mind to make better decisions. Even at that point of that wedding, she should have known better. Mm-hmm. She should have said, you know what? I don't agree with this. Like, I understand it's like a family thing. It's complicated. My mom's going to be really mad that I'm not having him be the pastor.
Who cares? It's a fucking pastor.
But, you know, she had to have it at the castle. Like, it's all about, like...
status.
Yeah, the dream of what she pictured when she was a little girl of having that man probably marry her. And she just had the blinders on and was like, I'm not thinking about him like that. Yeah, I don't agree with that. But, you know, it's what I always wanted.
Yeah, it's Lindsay Hubbard and her timeline.
Yeah, and
Lindsay Hubbard and her timeline.
Stuck in that closed-minded bubble of small town or whatever you want to call it. But there's no excuse now. She is outside of that. She has a gay best friend. And how can... I mean, Zack, like,
she has two best friends that are gay. Jasmine's gay, too.
True. But I would just love to know what... But Zack goes back with her to Kentucky. So that's why I'm so curious. Like, what were his thoughts? Like, was he in the wedding party? I don't even know. Like... if he was, because
time to Google.
Imagine being in that wedding and knowing like, oh, you know, we're planning this wedding, but this man like wants me to go to hell. I'm so curious.
Yes, he was in the wedding party.
Yeah, how despicable. Like, you see things on
and they went to college together.
I'm nonstop on Reddit, and you always see posts where it's like, oh, I live in the South and I'm supposed to be in this wedding. I am Black and my friends are having it at a plantation. I'm really like, you know, feeling conflicted because it's like my best friend, but I am Black and I'm going to be in this wedding. Like, how can you put your friend in that position? Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we're really hitting all the heavy shit.
Bravoholics. Okay. Here we go. Since we're on topic of Brittany driving us nuts, a hell no moment for me in this episode was Brittany's behavior at dinner. And her pulling up, like being so fixated on Danny sleeping. Mm-hmm. And I really tried to put myself in their shoes. And I was like, are they pissed as reality stars that Danny's not doing the scene? And he's not there to be a part at the table and he's collecting the paycheck and he's sleeping? Or is it because they think he's being inauthentic and he's hiding this dark... you know what? That triggers something. The demonic behavior. Janet's demonic behavior of the episode.
Zack's demonic behavior. Zack's demonic behavior. Demonic. Zack's demonic behavior.
Okay, Janet's demonic behavior of the episode this week goes to Jasmine for trying to make Dark Side Danny a thing. I just don't think Dark Side Danny is yet warranted.
I would be protective if my fiance's ass was grabbed by this drunk blackout man, and giving it like, oh, he's Dark Side Danny. Like, she kind of said it with like a jest, and then I think Brittany really fed into, and Janet really fed into that, like amping her up to get her like so upset. Her and Brittany just banding together with spiraling into, he's a mess. Like, how can they be so inauthentic? And I'm putting everything out there. And
I'm somebody that's like, I need more than one incident, especially when there's been like 2 or 3 apologies and months in between and multiple hangouts in between that have occurred with this person. It'd be one thing if every time Danny got drunk, he was groping people or having people call him daddy. But like right now, at this point, we only have the Halloween story at Jax's to go off of. And that was months back.
Can I say, like...
So Dark Side Danny...
Saying the sentence, go get daddy a drink, is really funny.
I mean,
not
Thomas...
putting the hand on the knee.
No.
I'm not... That is...
on her butt.
Keep her hands to your... Well, no, he put the hand on the knee to go get daddy a drink. on its own face, like, that is very funny. Like, I'm sorry.
I know. No, I mean, Thomas.
It's gross. If you felt
it's
gross
a risk.
in the moment, it's different.
It's a risk of his that he's choosing, and they're right to feel however they want to feel. They're validated. Thomas and I, though, last week agreed that we would be okay with it, but that's us and our bodies and our choice. Like,
true. And is there some sort of like weird thing where he was blackout and he's like, hey, these are two gay women. Like, they know that that it's safe for me to touch them because I'm not going after them. Like,
I don't know. I don't even think
when like women will put their hands on gay men and say like, they're not into me because they are not into women, so it's okay for me to do this. Like,
that's a really good point. The objectification of gay people is like a thing, especially in LA.
He's like, oh, she wouldn't be interested in me, so I can grab her ass. It doesn't matter.
And my wife wouldn't be jealous because she's gay.
Yeah. That's what I think happened. I think there was some sort of just subconscious.
Dude, I never thought of it like that.
Yeah. That's kind of what I think of.
That is a really rich thought, Christina. Burton.
Every now and then I come up with something.
That's a really rich thought. Okay. So anyway, my demonic behavior of the episode goes to Jasmine for trying to make Darkside Danny a thing. I just don't think we need it yet. I think that I would need to see him actually do some nefarious stuff.
Yeah.
More than one time. Because he seemed so apologetic. He didn't even know who he did it to. He apologized to the wrong girl. Yeah. Like, whoosh. So I just need to see a little bit more of a Darkside Danny before we make a thing, but it could be a t-shirt.
He's just a frat boy that is home with all those kids.
He's the dweebiest frat boy in the frat, and he's just overcompensating.
He's just going out and getting way too drunk because he's like dealing with the fact that he's a dad of 3 under 3. And,
but anyway, to bring it back to that, we were interrupted by that demonic behavior moment. But to bring it back to my hell no moment, Brittany's behavior at dinner about Danny sleeping, and I just think she's like so stressed out and so tired.
Yeah,
and her brain is just so. I think it can quickly trigger and release those stress hormones because of what she's going through.
She's trauma trained, like Zack really put the nail on the head on that one. But yeah, she's just projecting because she's like, look, I'm spiraling and dealing with like the worst meltdown of my life.
And I think it was good of him to go to Nia and be like, heads up, they're screaming in there about this thing.
Absolutely.
And Bravo moment of the day, Nia fucking handled herself like a boss in that moment. She was graceful and kind to Brittany. She was like, wait, so you're hurting, so you're coming after me and my husband? And like, she was like firm, but I think she still felt safe.
Well, here's the thing. That's where the pageant training comes in, because you know that woman has walked into a room and heard girls talking about her badly before. So she walked in, heard them before she walked into that room.
I'm obsessed with her.
Heard them talking shit.
If Danny fucks up, I might move in for the kill. We can give her I'll give her 40 more kids from the sperm bank. She can raise them all. She can do whatever she wants. I love her. I love her.
The first thing she said, he's like, yeah, he's drunk.
They're gonna get so they're gonna get so jealous. They're gonna get even more jealous in this moment at Nia because she still is unfeathered.
Yeah, and she completely called it. She goes, okay, so since your life is spiraling, you want all of us to just act the same way? Like, I don't understand. I said he's drunk. Like, she really didn't. And also for them to be like, she's trying to hide that she was yelling at him on the phone. Be like, no, she was in the corner of the Sprinter van. She was in front of you guys.
It was very audible.
She didn't go to a corner of a pantry and take a shot. She was literally next to them. She wasn't trying to hide it. So
and then Brittany does this obnoxious thing that she always does. She did it last week's episode when Zack pulled Janet to go talk, and she did it to Nia on the bus, where she calls you out in front of the group. Yeah. She goes, "Aw, two of my friends going to talk," and then she did to Nia. "Aw, Nia got angry at Danny." Like, why do you have to announce it to the? It's not cute and charming for you to announce it to the group. And I feel like maybe in the past she's been rewarded for that behavior, and people thought it was cute of her to like Steve Urkel it.
I think it goes back to Vanderpump Rules, where they just are constantly holding each other accountable and saying like, if I'm putting it all out there, you got to put it out there, or I'm going to throw you under the bus. Yeah. And she's just going to draw attention to anything. I guess
all the best do it like that. Like Kyle Richards does that to Sutton last season, and and Sutton does it to everybody in their low moment.
But there is a fine line between like over self-producing and
I agree. I agree.
But that's what's so good about these shows is that Zack and Brittany have been friends for so long. Like, there is so much history that you can be like, I know your shit and you are hiding right now. Like,
right.
Because Michelle and Jesse were at Britt and Jax's wedding. Like they were
Yeah,
in the
they were.
audiences. So they have had established relationships with these people for years.
Yes. And I think that's what makes it like the best show on TV right now.
I can't believe it.
I think about it nonstop. It's like 3 days before the Valley comes out. I'm like, oh my God, it's almost Tuesday and the Valley comes out, but I have to wait for Wednesday to see it on Peacock. And every week I get a little closer to buying a fucking like cable subscription so I can watch it on Tuesday.
I have YouTube Live for Bravo.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wait, can you buy the Bravo channel on YouTube Live? How's that work?
It's basically paying for cable. It's like $60 a month, and
You get cable?
but you can DVR it. Like it's essentially the same.
You can
exact thing.
DVR?
Yes, but I still pay for Peacock. I still pay for it all.
I need that.
Yeah,
I need
it's
that.
really a problem. I have all the services. It's
Well, you can write those things off with your business, and this is not something not a lot of women talk about. And I'm going to mention it right here, right now. If you have a business where it's related to something like Bravo, and you have to watch Bravo, you can write that off.
Most of my stuff is paid. My car's through my business.
Yes, because you need that to get to the craft fairs. Like that stuff makes complete
honestly
sense. So Nia standing up to the whole group for me was like is the Bravo moment that. My last Bravo moment for the week, and I was just really impressed. I knew she had it in her to like be composed and poised and whatever the taglines are for being a pageant queen.
Yeah.
But in a moment like that with people that are that close to you and they are coming at you with that much emotion.
Yes.
I was like, I don't think even I could have held it together like Nia did. Like it was a lot of energy.
That will drive someone more crazy when they are coming at you hot-headed for you just to be like, yeah, and okay.
Oh my God, I know, but that's so much easier said than done.
100%.
I'm much more of like, I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not at all like a Zack, but I do, my emotions are shallow. Like they're here. Like, and I can cry on a dime and I always say I'm operating
here. And if I hit half a step above it, I'm crying.
Yeah, it's ADHD. And so,
and by the way, bipolar depression medication over here, which is a mood stabilizer, and I've been on that for like 11 years, and I'm still crying and having emotions.
Oh, great! So.
And I don't drink Jax, so
oh my God,
when you're on medication, there's things you got to do.
Yeah, I know.
It's very personal. I'm telling you,
it hits home, Christina.
Look, I'm telling you all my diagnosis, my abusive relationships. We live in the Valley. I assume people here know this.
Yes. This is a safe space. And I'm like so grateful you came
so ingrained in the Valley
on the podcast to talk about the episode with me today and share everything. Tell us more about like where we can find your stuff, all of the amazing art and like the coloring books and everything. If people are sitting at home watching the Valley and they want to color Bravo shows along with it, like where are we finding your stuff?
Are we gonna do a Valley coloring book? I feel like the show is too new. I gotta wait at least another season or two.
No,
because I know there's gonna be so much more.
Season 1 and 2. Do season 1 and 2 coloring book.
I gotta that's the problem. So I made a Vanderpump Rules coloring book pre-Scandival.
Oh.
So the last page is like a heart and then the two Toms. And it says like Tom and Tom,
Wait,
like forever.
That's so great.
So, but that's the last page. And I feel like I need to put like a disclaimer, be like, this was made pre-Scandival. And then I made a Scandival edition book where it was just purely like the stuff from that. But yeah, I mean, right now I have like notes going for Salt Lake City book because that's the one that everyone wants.
That's cool.
So I just need to rewatch that for ideas. But you can find me essentially.
What if you did Bravo Party Edition and it was Summer House, Vanderpump,
yes,
Winter House, and the Valley?
Yeah, I was thinking of stuff like that because like Summer House is obviously great. It's just there's not a ton of moments that would make fun dynamic pages like the bed bugs.
The bed bugs is darling.
Though I would do a whole page of just Sierra's
costumes.
Party costumes.
That was literally what I was going to say. Sierra as a seagull.
No, her Avatar one is always like the one that cracks me up, or the alien. Oh, I
literally
love
should flip and every other page should be Sierra in a costume.
I love it. But yeah, so it's hard because like, oh yeah, when was the last time you made me a sandwich? Like things like that are great.
They're great.
But
that could be a sandwich. And then the olive could just be like Lindsay Hubbard's head on top of like the sandwich with like a toothpick.
Oh, this is my job. This is my life.
This is a great job.
But I have made books where it's like the best of Housewives or Housewives quotes.
Yes.
Right? So I do like the idea of doing like, you know, Bravo party, but I can't say Bravo. So that's the other thing too. So you got to deal with copyright issues. So I can't say like Summer House or whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of my books are like Salt Lake City Housewives. I don't say the real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Right.
But it's all my original art. Like,
Yes.
there's ways around that. It's not affiliated with Bravo in any way.
It's parody. It's satirical. It's
all my original art.
It's art.
And most of the Bravo celebrities that have seen the stuff love it because
course.
they just want the attention.
Of course they do.
By the way, I don't know if you saw
what
that Vicky Gunvalson reached out to Teddy after Teddy's diagnosis of skin cancer after not speaking for years and put out an olive branch and said, I hope you're doing well. I'm thinking of you. Here's a gift. And it was my Best of Housewives coloring book.
Shut up.
But
what an honor. What an honor.
Teddy is not in the book.
Oops.
Vicky is in it twice and is on the cover.
Oh my God, yes.
It's the most Vicky thing that has ever happened.
No,
and
this
love it.
I'm obsessed.
More than anything. She showed it to Tamara on their podcast and held it up and stuff. I was dying.
That's incredible.
There's
Christina.
times where
That's
I'm just
so
like,
cool.
Is my life a simulation? I cannot believe that this stuff has happened to me. I just being in this world, I have had the opportunities where I heard that they were doing the gala for the Homeless Not Toothless Foundation. And I
got to donate?
I was like, oh, those things usually do auctions.
Yes.
Let me reach out to the organizers and see if they're taking donations.
Genius.
And I showed them my coloring books and I was like, maybe I can get this in front of a housewife.
Yes.
And I made a whole basket and they messaged me oh, we have extra tickets. Would you like to go?
Shut up.
And I was like, oh shit, I guess I have to. So me and my friend were like, come on, we're getting some dresses on. We're going down
And you
to
went
Beverly
to the
Hills.
gala for the Homeless Not Toothless?
We were there. We went. Oh boy.
Your life is amazing.
But the very first pinned picture on my Instagram is Kyle laughing and looking at the cover of the Beverly Hills one and her taking a picture of it with the bunny. But
it's amazing.
Oh, when I tell you that whole
where can people buy it? Where can we buy it?
Hello Harlot. You can find me anywhere. Instagram, Hello Harlot, HelloHarlot.com. Harlot is a hussy, a floozy, a little woman of ill repute. That is where the name comes from. So
cute.
The very first greeting card I ever made was "Hey slut."
Maybe Jesse should have called Michelle a harlot. That would have been.
Hey, and if they're very biblical, that is a very old timey biblical way of saying someone's a trollop.
I want an episode of The Valley, and then we're gonna. I swear we're gonna. I want an episode of The Valley where we go to church. I want us to go to church with Danny, Nia, Michelle, Jesse. They all go
They go to that river or Hillsong or whatever.
Shut the fuck up. They're Hillsongers?
Yeah, they're Hillsongers. Jesse.
This is the best day of my life.
Danny and
I'm obsessed.
Oh yeah,
with cults.
Danny and Neo.
And I've been waiting since Going Clear came out for the Hillsong documentary to come out. That thing is going to be rich. I can't believe they still go to Hillsong.
Absolutely.
It's a mega church. We'll talk about it. Maybe I'll get somebody on to talk about it on my other podcast, Meet My Friends. We'll talk about
get them
cults
in
Hillsong.
A secret identity though. Don't let them speak out loud about it.
They'll come for us. Oh my god!
Yeah, it's when the Scientology people will they
come knock on your door. They're right there.
Yeah, they'll just case the neighborhood and just make sure that no one's taking pictures of the building and all that. Oh yeah, it's fucking weird.
They're weird.
Weird.
It was so much fun having you on.
Yeah, I'm just yapping.
I hope you can come back and yap again soon about
all of it. When
Bravo.
Shaw's comes back, it's my favorite.
Shaw's of the Valley.
I live by all of them, by the way.
You do?
I live.
You have to come back when that's back.
I don't want to brag.
If you hear about them filming somewhere, we'll go eat a sandwich and watch them.
Oh, I don't want to brag, but me, MJ, and Tommy go to the same CVS. And I have been in the pharmacy line with Tommy many times because the first time I was standing in line and I heard him behind me and I was like, oh my God, Tommy is here.
You literally just know.
How do you not hear that voice? And
Yeah.
They say they live in Calabasas. I'm not sure. A lot of people who live where I live, which is not in Calabasas, say they live in Calabasas because
it's right there.
Because people know it as such. There's a podcast host who claims to be very Kardashian adjacent, and she does not live in Calabasas.
That's really interesting. Okay,
some scoop for you.
Some scoop. I listened to that.
Yeah, she does not live in Calabasas.
Not a surprise.
I can tell. I looked at a house on her street, and they were like, "Oh,
a celebrity lives there." A celebrity. Well, it was so much fun.
Sorry,
we could literally we could do a marathon for charity yapping.
I love it.
And it was a pleasure, and hopefully we'll have you back on the show soon.
Thank you. I always have something to yap about when it comes to this, so here for Bravo always.
I love it, and I'm obsessed. Everybody, addicts, thank you for tuning in, and remember to keep your champagne cold and your taglines iconic.
Yay, thank you.
Thank you.